1, 2, 3. Facebook is good. Just waiting on YouTube. Yeah, we're good. All right. Okay. Test. Aloha, Milana, my auntie from Hawaii. All right, we've got a new friend with us today. Let me see. Somebody's saying something. Okay, yeah. I got you, Sanda Davis. I'm about to pull you up on screen. So we got a new friend with us today, Sanda Davis. I just don't know anything about her, but that's perfect for our Soulology style. Everything's intuitive, creative, spontaneous, imaginative, and depending on what we're talking about or doing, courageous. So let's bring this beloved sister up, Sanda Davis. Let me just pull her up here. Thank you all for your continued love and support and contributions that allow us to keep doing this every single day to the best of our abilities. All right, let's see here. Okay, she's coming.
Start my video, okay.
Hello, beloved sister. How are you doing?
And thank you, how are you? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, of course.
Lights and daylight and
oh no, it's perfect. It's all perfect. It's all great. It's going to be a pleasure to get to know you for the next hour. All I can say is I went to your page to get a picture and I really like the energy that you're putting out there. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit. Where are you located?
Ottawa.
Oh, you're in Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a French province? Is that the
no, it's mixed. Mostly it's Ontario, so it's mostly
okay.
English, but it's
Oh,
bilingual.
you're doing yeah. I don't know. It shows you how well I know Canada. I should know better. So
Yeah.
you I don't know where to start other than a lot of times when I don't know where to start with these shows, I should know after 1800 episodes, but is when did you wake up? When did you figure out that everything wasn't as you were being told?
Wow, that's such a good question. Huh. My whole life I was doing what I was supposed to do, heading into the direction that I was to head to. And those up there who are in charge of seeing where I'm heading kept watching me. And then when I finished my PhD thesis, I had there all the elements that covered the paradigm that I was to work on. So they're kind of reading over my shoulder and they say, she got it. Okay, we can go with her. And that's when the heavens opened for me in ways that faced me with surprises and shocks and revelations and marvel. It was extraordinary. And I was in my early 30s or almost, yeah, early to mid 30s. And right now I'm 65. So that was, wow. My daughter then was in her, oh yes, probably what touched the strings of my heart was my daughter. And she watched over me, other than everybody above who was involved, but my daughter watched over me. When she was not 5 yet, when she asked me to think of a way in which we could all live forever. She said, I'm serious, mommy. I'm serious. You have to promise me that you'll think. Well, picture your child asking you something like that. You have to think. So, and it went on for there. So between what was from above and people around me who made sure that they didn't let me marvel with half of my head in the heavens and half on the in the sky. I don't think I was touching the earth very often.
Well, that seems to be a big part of our transition that people refer to as ascension. Is we are connected to this, our multi-dimensional aspects or our higher aspects or higher self or God or goddess or source or universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that, that's a very powerful connection. It affects us. It challenges our ego, makes us, and understandably so, think, oh my God, I'm very special. And we are. But what I'm getting at is that at some point in time, we all come to the realization that all of that information is fantastic, but it doesn't really, as my wife says, it doesn't mean anything until we embody it and actually apply it to our human experience. Has that been something that resonates with you? I mean, have
Oh,
you,
definitely.
yeah.
Nothing more important than the embodiment. We can meditate and dream up there until it becomes who we are, and until we do what we all are to do together or individually, or together and individually.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up the identity.
Yes.
I'm not interested in ego, but to deny identity is to turn back into the cosmic soup, and I'm not doing that.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree with that. I mean, I totally agree with that. Our number two hashtag at Soulology is the human is the hero. And the way I look at it is I don't know anything. The only thing I know is I'm sitting here talking to you right now with a bunch of brothers and sisters present. I'm only going to be Todd Medina one time as far as I know. And you're only going to be Sanda one time as far as I know. Nobody's proven anything else to me, so let's make it good.
Yeah. And
But
I
that
leave it in your hands. I'm interviewed, so I have the luxury to answer questions rather than prepare an expose.
well, you're welcome to ask questions. This is a conversation. It's not an interview, but I find it really interesting that your blossoming occurred simultaneously with the PhD. PhD obviously is a powerful accomplishment and achievement in this world because it does require quite a bit of learning, research, creativity, and many other things. Uh, but it is very much the intellect as opposed to intelligence, infinite intelligence, that type of thing. But they came together at the same time. Not really came together, I guess, but you blossomed as a result of the work you did at the human level, somehow or another correlated with your connection with infinite intelligence. That's profound.
That's what they're looking at from above, because I'm supposed to bridge science or divine science with scholastic science, divine experience with embodied earthly reality.
Mm.
And for that, they had to watch. I grew up in the communist Romania where atheism was the law almost. So that was fine. It allowed me to grow free of pressures of any kind. And then everybody who had a calling for study would really see this as something very important. It was not like everybody goes to college or everybody goes to high school.
Mm.
The competition and the requirements were really serious.
In Romania.
You had to love study to go there.
Mm.
So as I went that path, there are two questions. Will I, from above, will I drown in the black hole of the egos, of the intellect that were destroying the world? Or will I touch those points that would allow the connection between the intellect and the higher levels? Because the intellect tended to destroy us, trying to rule us. The intellect wanted to be the God.
Yeah, the lesser God, right? The smart.
No, it wanted to be the bigger God. It wanted to
The bigger God.
It wanted to lessen
True.
the God. In a way, for no fault initially of the intellect, because the intellect never wanted to separate. But then we've been through millennia where, or at least the Middle Ages, when they were burning books and intellectuals, that they're seeking for approval, but then they're being burned alive for understanding something. And they got upset and they started to rule.
You know, it seems to me
into oblivion.
Yeah, it seems to me that every day that goes by, with the broadening expanse between the polarities in this duality to include all the things that have been mandated onto the world in the last few weeks, paralleling with our inner work, our expanding consciousness individually and collectively, that everything is here to be integrated. Everything is here to be, and I'm not saying this is the gospel, I'm just saying this is the way I'm kind of viewing things right now, to include the fusion of intellect and intelligence, love and lust, and all the different things from what we might call the heavens or the cosmic or the galactic or the angelic, along with the human. The human is just as important. The lust is just as important as the love. And I don't mean that lust, porn, that type of thing. I mean the libido. I was reading last night that the etymology of the word libido means to live, to actually participate and reach out and experience and command of life itself. And I think that maybe this is, to me, the most ironic part of our journey is that we're all coming back home to the human being and how special it is in the universal family.
In the whole paradigm, the human being is the key for uniting everything material with everything of a higher level. The human is at the boundary between the material and the divine.
Yeah.
And one can only be as divine as one is human, whatever the degree of divinity or divine or angelic or galactic, cosmic, any level we want to describe, until they complete their human quality, they fail.
Yeah.
Without the human quality, they fail. Having looked down at humans and sacrificing human life for anything was one of the biggest losses in history. Yeah. So I like the points that you're making.
Well, we have some type of connection here. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, it's like we spend so much time learning to love ourselves because of all the things that we went through in our lives. Everybody's had trauma, everybody's had their stories. And then we've come to this point where we're beginning to really start to appreciate and honor and revere and love ourselves. And and the thing that I see happening now too is people are becoming very polarized in savior mentality or fear-based mentality, where there's blame and externalization, shame on you, and pointing the finger at other people. Is that not only are we is it incumbent upon us to grow our love for ourselves, but it's actually the same holds true for the mirrors that we see in the world that are our fellow human beings, no matter who they are, no matter what they've done or what we think they've done. There's a story behind every one of us, and they may look different, but we all came here on a mission to raise the bar, to expand the breadth of Mother Universe, and I think it's high time that we start to appreciate each other along the same lines as we're appreciating ourselves. I don't know why I said that. It just
You
came
know,
out.
uh, as much as I give all to see the best outcome, as much as limitless, beyond passionate love I have, to the point of pain when I see pain. I'm sad to say that we're not all here to raise the bar. And we have to be part of the awakening is to see that not everybody here is to raise the bar. Not everybody here is a confederate to represent what we have to understand and resolve. And I had to deal with that a lot. So the few mentalities that you mentioned, they cannot be allowed to overwhelm.
Hmm.
But occasionally, there's the hour that calls for the Savior. And there's the hour that comes to pointing rightfully the finger. Into all of this love and light, we're not to lose our discernment, our passion, and our will to say, shame on you.
Yeah, I've had enough. No
I
more.
have enough. Enough is enough. Do
Enough
not
is enough.
mistake my kindness or my patience or
Yes.
the world's patience with the incapacity to stand up to you.
And this is kind of a challenge, right? Because if we look at the world itself, let's just say the world itself is a person,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah.
and as opposed to the collective world. Okay, so the world is a person, and I love what you just said because we are all figuring this out as we go. I personally think we're writing the new good book, we're writing the new script and the new blueprint. But back to what I was saying, if we look at the world as a person, are we at the point now where we are to say, I've had enough. I want something different. And I'm
Absolutely.
willing to take responsibility in my own energy field to do my part, and but
And we can
I'm
say no
no
to
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm no longer willing to comply, but at the same time, I'm no longer willing to rebel. I'm going to find a place in the middle. Um, and I don't think we have a owner's manual or a book on how to do that. I think we're figuring it out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll tell you a funny thing. Somebody from my team, uh, I had teams along the path at different stages of work, and somebody from my team really kept stepping me on the toes, and I was patiently smiling and making room until one day I kind of said some things that were not very nice to her. Not very unpleasant, but not usual, because it takes a lot to get me going there. And as I raised my voice a little bit, not too much, but as I raised my voice, I stopped and I said, okay, sorry, but this is not acceptable. It's too much. I had too much of this. And sweet Maria, that was her name, sweet Maria looks at me and she said, no, 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 don't apologize. We need this. We don't listen. We need this. Said, this is what we needed, God with an attitude. Said, you cannot have, God is love and God loves us and sacrifices everybody and we can do whatever we want and be whoever we want. No, there are criteria, there are values that we have to respect. So it was such a revelation for me. This is why we succeed this time, because we can go into a fuzzy love and light and exchange love and light forever and fail without knowing what's going on. Or we can keep all of that wonder, but put our foot down when we need to.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it is the discernment and the standing up for what we know that is fundamental. That is what will make the difference this time. We have what it takes to do. The fuzzy thing and very discerning, very, very well defended thing.
Yes. The sovereignty. Now, you mentioned a couple of times about your team up here, and everybody experiences the universal family or the universal voice in ways unique to themselves. And I understand that there's no right or wrong, but I'm just very curious, with your background and your life experience, what faces of the universe, if any, have communicated with you throughout your life, maybe that have been very influential with you, divine essences or angels or galactics or elementals? Or is it just one voice?
It is all levels as the necessary stage to the front stage. All levels. Because I'm with the whole picture from before what is called the source. The source is not the first. It's who produced the source is the first. So being with the whole picture, having to look at the whole picture, the stages had to unfold for my own internal and internal awakening and external relating to happen. So I had to meet internally or externally the right beings at the right time.
Yes.
They did something with me for many ages. I'm the best kept secret, or I was the best kept secret. And in this lifetime, they allowed me to be around. They gave me all the hard time that they could to keep me under wraps. And they went ahead without me. And they had to come from the future in time loops to find me where I was and to get me up to speed. When they realized that if they go without me, they get more of the same, up to the point where it's getting worse. So they showed up. And the first one that surfaced was the embodiment of the prophet Daniel.
Daniel in the lion's den.
Yeah, I cannot say his name without enormous feelings of the most beautiful kind.
Yeah.
He saw me, he came straight at me, but he was coming from the future. And he made sure that he handed me the right book, the right conversation that rises my. He showed me to myself without telling me who I was.
Yes.
Or who I am. He just allowed me to see myself different from the environment that tried to cover me up. So he spent years and in different ways, much of his adult life, making sure that I don't stay covered, that I don't stay lost. And at some point, he was telling me jokingly and admiring things that we were talking about. Like, where do you know these things? He was actually directing me to the inside because he knew that the outside didn't give me that. And he was like, how did you come up with that? How do you know this? And he kept complimenting me to shake all the dust that was layered to prevent me from being. And that is when, at some point, he was saying, you have to write a book. You must write a book. You should write a book. I had no intention to write anything at all. I was not one of those young people who write poetry, who think about becoming a writer. But that was the biggest standard of guidance that I had. After that, they came from different realms, from different levels. Everything that exists cosmically or historically has a person on Earth today.
Mm.
Jaya is on Earth today. And I met her as well. And we had to avoid talking. At least we can talk lovingly, because if we were clashing, there were earthquakes.
And who was this? Who was she?
Jaya.
Oh yeah.
People call her Gaia.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Well, as mother, I am Terra, locked in by Jaya.
Mm.
You see, geopolitical problems, geodesic problems, geological problems. The daughter, who was Jaya or Gaia, locked in the mother, the source of the terrestrial life.
Yeah.
So you see, the geopolitical problems knocked Terra with bombs. People engaged in geopolitical problems. So missiles against Terra, the source of life. The mother is not Gaia. No, that's one of the things to be understood. And she never claimed that. We made peace, we are in harmony, we connect, no problem. But it's like in the Freudian theme shows the daughter who wanted to be above the mother.
Mm.
And she ended up above the mother, but the surface, where she had to learn about the process of life, was not supposed to become the prison. So I met them. I can tell you, we can stay here and I can tell you more, but it's all important in the way things worked out. I had to work with Gaia, with Jaya, I cannot say Gaia.
Jay is fine.
for more reasons, I had to rebirth the love between Terra and Jaya.
Mm.
And it is there. It's there and it's beautiful. And
Yeah,
yeah.
there's something extremely powerful. I don't understand it, but I can see it, and that is, and I'm speaking energetically more than
Yeah.
I am literally, but both,
Yeah.
between the mother and the daughter.
Yeah.
There's something about that connection that is almost like a baseline or foundational part of me, of everything. The mother.
What you I never thought of that because I just live it. But see, my daughter asked me exactly what we needed at this time, and she was 5. And she watched me. And then she was free to go to science. But other daughters throughout time determined how history was, the dynamic between daughters and mothers. You are right.
Yeah.
Now, but in your view, where does the father fit in there?
Yeah. Well, yes. I don't. When I guess remembered or awoke in 2011, everything that was shown to me was in very simple terms, almost like cartoons. And I remember I was always speaking to the Father, and Daniel was one of 6 guides that came and spent time with me, right? And then one night, I was homeless, and I was not always in the best of spirits, let's put it that way. And I was connecting to the Father, and he showed me something that I'll never forget. Uh, so I went up this little hill. He has a little cabin, and I'm like, Father God, can I talk to you? And he came to the window and he was whispering, "What can I do for you, son?" And then I heard a woman's voice behind him.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "I didn't know you were married." And that's when it all started. That's the first time I ever saw the power or really understood it, of the Great Mother, right? And so then he showed me that she was like in other words, the feminine activates the masculine then goes out to create, and it's all being powered by his love for her. And we're talking energy, I'm not necessarily talking about physical men and women, although some of that holds true. But I understood at that point that all the times that I had been, exposed to these ascended masters and angels, archangels, there were some spirit guides involved, that in my lowest moments when I was on the streets, and I literally felt like I was being cradled in the arms of a mother. And this mother power was not just the nurturing and the unconditional love. It was a power like Kali, the goddess Kali is part of that energy, as is the whitest, brightest light, that we can think of. But it's a powerful, powerful thing. Do you think that that energy is reemerging on the earth? The goddess energy, the feminine energy that's been suppressed for so many years?
uh, 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 some people already realize that the God is the feminine.
That's right. That's what I tell people.
As high as the highest male deities or divinities have been, those who listened to the mother accomplished great things.
Yeah.
And those who played against the mother made a huge mess that we still suffer from.
Yes.
The higher they were, the worse the impact. The maker and the creator being the two of them.
Yes.
The creator, when he decided to create people and to just start them beautiful, when I stood up to him and I said, no, he went, I told him, why not? I said that the beauty has to come from the internal beauty. People have to be born, not made and not created. There was work for the creator and there was work for the maker. But people had to be born to grow, and their beauty had to express the real beauty of their being, of their character.
Mm.
When something is unpleasant, it has to signal that there is a problem there. And that doesn't call for judgment, but it does call for attention and prudence and correction. So it is in the nature of the beings that are born to be very receptive to beauty, to outside beauty.
Hmm.
So the Creator made daughters of men beautiful, and the flood came. The sons of God, like the beautiful girls, that inside, or very much like many who have all the right makeup, all the right garments, and all the right limousines, but they can destroy the world with things that they do.
Yeah.
So my stand there with the Creator was no. And he told me, do you see that cow on the hill? And I love cows. He said, you go and kind of produce another calf, kind of push out another one. I'm the creator. I am an artist. I make them beautiful. You go, the cow can produce a calf. You can produce a calf. I was the mother. I am the mother. So he tells me that the cow and the mother, and they do that, but he's the creator. Yeah. And look how much we suffer because of false beauty and the illusion. Then comes the false love, Aphrodite, talking about discerning love, who goes, you love this one, you love this one, you love the other one, you love that beauty who's going to take you to ruin. But wait a minute, we need true love because that's what leads to infinite life.
Yeah.
When we look at somebody's face, we have to see their being. So that was a big, big problem when they started to produce according to their will. They took the freedom of choice as disregard for what works and what doesn't. So I'm interested in what you think of freedom of choice.
We must be connected. That's pretty much what I was going to ask you next. Where do we stand now? I mean, we're valiant souls to even be here. This isn't by chance. We were chosen, we earned, we volunteered to come here. This is great work that we're doing, but we're still very much aligning and learning to respect and love and honor our human aspect, which, like you said, it's the key. Where are we at? How do we claim our sovereignty? How do we expand the pure love that sovereignty is within our own being, within our own essence. Something tells me that it doesn't mean we go out and boycott or march or protest or rebel, that it happens within our own field of energy. What are your thoughts on that?
First, there are some pieces from the apple. We have to bite the apple.
Unbite the apple.
Unbite the apple. Reveal that knowledge that was taken.
Mm.
The story with the apple was the killing of the mother in the garden.
Ooh.
That was, the apple was the heart of the mother. The killing of the mother by the one who wanted to make rather than proceed correctly. The maker's plans led to the killing of the mother. And from the higher level, the comment was, what have you done? Now you will die. Because without the mother that was there to give them the knowledge that they needed, why do that? Why not do that? Understand the immense freedom of choice. Yet understand identity and order and law and principles and values and virtues. So what had to be learned not only was not learned at that time, but was denied to all the generations that came. And there was fight against knowledge, against truth, against mother, against anyone who came to connect the clean levels with what was happening to people. So now we have to bring that knowledge, first of all, to ourselves, those who endured to achieve what we achieved. Yeah. We had to learn individually, but we have to learn at this stage and to learn it well. Because when we learn and apply it, the outcome is so visible to the others that they will beg us. When some of the very dark ones were resisting in my dealings with them, I was saying, go with it. You'll thank me. You'll like it. You don't see it now, but you'll like it. Look at this, that do all the things that go against what's best for all. When they'll see that our longevity increases, that we look better in our 60s and 80s than we were in our 40s because of what's happening with us, because of what we know and what we do, they'll go like, I'm younger, why do I look older than you? Well, let's see, what do you do and what do I do? Not a competition, but we have to be examples through our own achievement, because what we achieve, they all cry for. They try to compensate, they cover with greed and all sorts of things. But they all want what we have for them. They just don't know how worth it is to trade what they hang on to until they see what we bring. Yeah. We have to understand for them to see it and for us to explain it well. There's a lot of wrong teaching, a lot of confusions. How are they to follow? They hang on to uncertainty for them. We are at the best place, but now we need a handful at least who want to learn. Yeah. What do you think about that? What I just said?
Well, I think you're right. I think, so much of our experience has been measured by the measurement, methods that the world gave us. There's very little been said about the internal refinement and alignment and expansion of the soul, that without words, that without deed, without anything, has an incredible impact on the entire earth, on every brother and sister. A soul is like an atom bomb, like a nuclear cosmic bomb. And when somebody expands by taking responsibility and by owning all that is, and not separating from here, not separating, I'm not this and I'm not that, but I am that. How can I be I am if I'm not that and that and that? So I guess what I'm saying is after all the journeys that we've had, it really comes down to me and the universe, me and the mother, me and the father. And what happens here is from the heart, from the soul, merging the body, the mind, the heart, the spirit. I can contribute to a greater experience, a more pure love, instead of waiting for something outside of me to do it for me, because that's just not going to happen. We are made in the image.
It has to happen inside, in interaction, but inside. But for things to happen well inside, everybody has to understand their inside, to know what they need, to know what they have, because inside they are not the same. Those that were created, those that were cloned, those that were made, those that were conglomerates of others, may not be in the same condition with those who are complete. They just have to awaken different aspects of them to remember,
Yeah.
and to be their fathers. So rather than thinking that everybody is equal, they may want to think that everybody is equally valuable, but there are different stages and with different needs.
Yeah.
And that's not to look down on.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's done any degree of communication, travel, communion in the ethers, in the non-physical, in the other dimensions, there is no hierarchy, but there is I don't know, what do you call it? Nobody gets anything for free. We earn everything that we do. We go through initiations and we cross thresholds, and I agree with you. I think that there is a group, not that they're better. It's not, like you said, it's not about that. But I think there is a group that are anchored on this earth that carry a certain level of frequency, sacred wisdom, whatever you want to call it, that are assisting the vast majority of the souls. And that's a very tricky place to be, because we are human and it can get into our ego. But I think there's a lot of universal energy supporting all of us now to fulfill our true authentic self, which is really the basis of our mission, is to be that which we are.
We have to come to Shakespeare's answer to Shakespeare's question, to be or not to be. It is about being. It's about beingness. I happen to know the current embodiment of one of the authors of the Shakespeare work. And he recently decided to be. He was upset for ages. And recently I thanked him because he said that to be is better than not to be.
Yeah, I love that you said.
Decided that
I love that you said that. I think this has an energetic. There's an energetic part of this that are in your words. I'm a writer, and I've always been a reader that enjoyed great literature. Shakespeare, in the research that I've done over the years, I don't know that he wrote all those things. So when you said I met somebody, and I know you're talking about in the ethers, that
no,
wrote.
the man is here. I can call him today, but I don't.
Oh
Not
wow,
today.
that's even more impressive. But
Yeah, they are others.
but as an example, this is an individual who was upset, right?
Yeah,
Who was upset, and then said at some point, you know what, am I to be or not to be? And to not and not to be, to me, is to not to be yourself. I mean, to thine own self be true. Anytime that we get off of that,
yeah,
we are not to be.
exactly.
We are depleting our energy field, our experience, and because of the connectivity of the universal, we're actually depleting the collective, just as
Yeah,
we can enhance it.
and you know what? The path to that future that is good to everybody, that is harmonizing all that crazy and maintains all infinite, goes through paradise on earth.
Mm.
There are portals to paradise on earth. We have the portals for the internal paradise.
Yes.
And the first gate, first portal to the internal paradise is a gate of identity. Be thyself.
Yeah.
So I like that you said, not just be, but you cannot be if you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You fail trying to be who you are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to say more because you understand.
Oh yeah. I do. I absolutely
So,
do. Let me ask you this.
yes,
What did you study? What did you get your PhD in?
I finished my PhD thesis, and all my work in all dimensions is the demonstration of my PhD thesis. So the defense follows. I finished the thesis in 92. And do you know French?
No, just
Okay, it's all right. It's written in French, so the title in French flew really well for me.
Mm.
But it is a it is the systemic functionalism.
Yeah.
It sounds better in French. Functionalist, systemic functionalism of personality within the family environment.
Mm.
So it was personality in the environment. So you go into the family environment, you have all the other aspects of society.
Yeah.
And as I was writing the thesis, I was making diagrams. And then I was looking at the diagrams and saying, oh, this looks like the structure of the atom. Then I'm looking like, oh, this is like the structure of the solar system. And it was getting more complex from there, but not unintelligible. The main theme there was correction, behavior as correction of error. That's what those up there said. She got it. because what we have to do is to correct the errors, not to collapse civilization, preserve what we have, correct what needs to be corrected, and go ahead with the memory, with the wisdom, and with the will to correct. This is what we have to do now. Will
like
to
that.
know, will to correct.
I like that. We're
Yeah.
not, we cannot divorce ourselves from any aspect of the universe. And we're not erasing anything. We're transforming, right?
Yeah.
We're taking, so to speak, like you said about and I get that way too, with too much fluffy love and light. There is another side here, and it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that we have work to do, in all of us. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to what you're saying about the family and the personality. And this is one of the reasons that, I don't know, I just feel that we are unique. I received 9 years ago. We are all unique and equal. Unique means a lot to me. Unique may only mean in this lifetime. I don't know how it works when we leave here, but I have a feeling that we have a unique, and we might call it personality, for lack of a,
Identity.
yes, identity. There's
And
a
we have to make
uniqueness
sure
to
that
our,
personality is in tune with identity, because otherwise it leads to falsehood, and personality departs from identity.
yes,
But the key here, I see that we're heading towards the closing of the hour now. The key here, as I did that thesis, like my studies are in psychology, philosophy, history, arts, and so on. And then it got more and more precise towards psychology, physiology, and so on. But that thesis put exactly the main theme that had to start my work, my multidimensional work, together with those that were watching to see if I was ready. It's like this. Every unique individual is at the junction between the micro universe and the macro universe, the microcosmos and the macrocosmos. And those don't just fly through like air through an empty room. It's all articulate. It's all distinct with a unique role. So to look down at people and to kill them and to starve them and to not educate them is to destroy the macro universe.
yes,
As above, as below, so above, as in the body, so in the universe. That's the wisdom of
that's a great explanation.
great
That's a,
cultures.
that's a great explanation. It really is. That
What
and
happens with COVID is that in society, somebody came to break down all structures and all achievements. And as he is the image of division, destruction, and dysfunction, and the micro-universe, he's the virus that he calls a genius. He named the virus genius, that all the doctors could not get, nobody got it. Doctors cannot stop it. And his broken down structure is the engine of the genius that he's defended, sabotaging every step ahead. And what he lured society with, that he gives them money, that he gives them great economy, that's exactly what collapsed. It brought the planet to stand still. What we are dealing now is with that micro universe that is affected by the fact that is not understood. it is attacked with antibiotics. Life of the micro-universe is attacked. And then we run out of breath because life is attacked in the micro-universe to destroy us and to destroy the universe. The best way to destroy a big thing is to destroy the foundation of it. What's a micro-universe now is supposed to evolve for the future macro-universe. What's micro-universe right now is a layer of the universe that can provide something for our own continuation. This is why this extraordinary effect with COVID. Time is up. I'm running over time. So I don't want to lead too much, but it would be very nice if someone would be interested to have a full discussion on what's happening now with COVID. Yeah,
I'd love to collaborate with you again. We can talk for hours.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for honoring us with your presence. I didn't know you before today, and I just want to tell you thank you so much for the work that you've done in Dimension on this earth, and that you continue to do. And it's an honor to be in your presence, and it's an honor to be in the presence of a powerful, expanding, great mother energy. And there's many, many others like you around the world. And I think the time has come that what you just said was very, very important. By the same token, we can build the macro. We can create a greater macro. We can create a more benevolent, pure love consciousness in the macro by going into the micro, and we are the micro, and we all have a hand in that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for today. And I would love to collaborate with you again if you're open to it, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I'm grateful for you, because knocking the walls was my experience for a long time, and having someone talking with people that are God responsive and that have it there, I don't have to convince them.
Yes.
I don't have to influence. Like, it's so easy for me to talk with you. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, I don't have to get jobs and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Just because.
No, you're with family here. Everybody here thinks the way you do, that watches the lives and the replays. I want to say too that I'm very happy I met you, because I've been worried about my gray hair, and I'm looking at yours thinking, well, if mine's going to look like that, I'm okay.
You know what? Mine is coming back.
Is it? Is it coming?
It was whiter. It is coming back in the order in which it went white. I had it much whiter, but
then I'm really encouraged. Then maybe mine will go back to black. In the back, it's black. But
yeah. As we all do better, we'll regain.
Yeah, I believe that. I
I
believe we're going to start seeing some real proof, which is what the human always wants, right? Some real proof of what you described earlier, where people are going to look at these people and go, oh my God, they're getting younger. Oh my God, they're illuminated. You know, I really think I know this is happening. So, and it's happening because a lot of people have done a lot of work. And thank you again for everything that you've done. I look forward to spending time with you again, and I wish you and yours all blessings always.
Thank you. You too.
You take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.